Hi students, and welcome to today's live IELTS class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here in Western Canada, where winter has temporarily returned. We're into some -2, -3 degrees Celsius. Welcome Carolina, our chat moderator. Good to have you in the class. Hi Fuang, Chayani, Raquea, Silviana. Nice to see our members joining in on time. It's great to have all of you here with me today for this IELTS reading lesson about the Lost Sea. Very mysterious. You will find out soon what that is all about. Students, this is an academic IELTS reading passage, but it is of course very useful for general IELTS as well. Section 3 reading of the general IELTS is basically the same as the reading passages of the academic IELTS. And this is a members chat class, so you do have to be a member to join the chat, but of course everybody is welcome to watch and learn. In about 2 hours, we will have an all chat class, which will be a task 1 writing for the academic IELTS. This lesson is presented to you as usual by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS help, visit us there. For general IELTS help, visit us at gieltshelp.com. We have all the tools you need on these websites to improve your English, improve your communication, and score better on your upcoming IELTS exam. This is our academic IELTS website here. Members, we will be using this shortly to work on the reading passage together, so go ahead and log in when you get the chance. For newcomers, you can join the premium IELTS package on this website by clicking that big red button that's just right there above my head, this Join Now button. It is a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an IDP affiliate. We're a British Council partner. We're an IELTS test registration center, and we're recognized as one of the leading experts when it comes to preparing students for the IELTS exam and for much of the English that is needed in university and in your working life in the US, Canada, Australia, and other English-speaking countries. Students, again, you can click that Join Now button and then simply just go through the checkout form. You can use the code OVER7 for a 10% discount. Just apply that discount code, and then you're off to the races, as they say. For general IELTS, it's the green background. You can click the big red button there. It's again just right above my head, and you are golden. Students, of course, we have some apps for you. The apps you can find in your app stores as Academic IELTS Help and General IELTS Help. Those apps will link to the websites for more learning. If you have questions, just send me an email, adrian@aehelp.com, admin@aehelp.com. We love getting questions, whether it's about IELTS, English, your studies in the US, UK. Just send us your question and we are here to help you. Amazon has our exam books, 2 academic books, 2 general IELTS books. You can search for AE Helps Academic IELTS and GE Helps General IELTS. Joao is asking in the chat which one's harder, the general or the academic. I mean, it's hard to say. It's what you're practicing for, Joao, but the academic probably takes a bit more technical English. So if I had to say, I would say the academic is a bit more challenging. It doesn't really matter because you need to take the test that's right for you, so for your purpose or your goal. So make sure you know that before you register. All right, Chen, I see you got 7 overall today in the IELTS. Thumbs up. That's fantastic. Thank you, Chen, for coming back and sharing that. That's super cool. Chen, if you can send me an email to adrian@aehelp.com, I'd love to get your testimonial. We love to post our students' success stories. And Chen, you've been a student of mine for a while, so I'd love to get an email from you. Just send it, okay? And congrats again. That's great. So to score 7 on the IELTS is a big deal because you can think about it like this. If a native speaker were to sit the IELTS exam with no preparation, then they would be scoring around a 7. And it's outstanding to reach that level in a foreign language by any standard. So good job, Chen. It means you have good command of the English language. It's good for you. All right. Thanks, Chen. I look forward to that email. Students, the schedule. So reading right now, we've got a task 1 writing coming up. That task 1 is going to be pie charts, and it will be a subscribers chat class. So please subscribe to the YouTube channel. You will definitely benefit from that. It's free, of course. And you can get notifications of weekly live IELTS classes and our video posts with lots of strategies. Tomorrow we're going to have speaking part 2 and speaking part 3. So we've got some good classes coming up. And we have a release this past week for speaking. It's an interview video. Check that out. There's the link in the chat. And again, we're going to do some volunteering for reading a little bit later on in a few moments. So members, make sure to log in to your accounts at aehelp.com if you haven't done so during my preamble here. All right, let's take a look at the reading passage. The lost C, the missing C. This is coming from our new exams that we're developing. So you won't find these just yet in your My Student account, but we're hoping to get it there ASAP. Okay, students, reading, the very first step is to look at the title, okay? Don't skip it. Some students are really in a rush when they get to the reading section because they feel like 20 minutes for each passage is not enough time. First of all, don't think about it like 20 minutes for each passage, but think about it as 1 hour for the whole reading, okay? It's just a better way to think about it. Yes, on average, you should be spending 20 minutes per passage and questions in the academic IELTS, but you don't want to restrict yourself to thinking like just 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes, okay? So if you have to take a couple more minutes on one passage, it's not the end of the world. So if you take 22 minutes or 23 minutes on one passage and then on another passage you take 15 or 16 minutes, that's fine, okay? The goal is to maximize your result, all right? Why do I say that, members? So why would I say like don't be too concerned about spending exactly 20 minutes on one passage? What do you think? Why would I give you that kind of a suggestion? Let's turn on those critical thinking caps and get going on this, because that's exactly what you need for the IELTS reading questions is good critical thinking, good logical thinking, aside from English. So don't be too focused on spending exactly 20 minutes on each reading passage in academic IELTS. Why would I tell you that? So why would I say that? Yeah, exactly, Joao. So Joao says it depends on the complexity of each passage and the familiarity as well. So how familiar you are with the topic. Some of you will notice that this passage is about the sea that was in Uzbekistan. And we have a lot of students from Uzbekistan joining these classes. So for example, this passage for some people who are from Uzbekistan might be a little bit easier because it's a very known part of Uzbek history, right? So you might not need as much time for this passage because you have a lot of knowledge about this anyway, right? So don't be too focused because you might find one passage easier or more familiar, so it may take less time, while another passage may be more challenging and demand more time. Okay, so that's the reason why you don't have to think about it like 20 minutes, 20 minutes, 20 minutes. It should kind of average to be 20 minutes, but you shouldn't be freaking out if you spend 22 minutes or 23 minutes on one passage. Okay. All right. So first steps first, read the title. The titles give a lot of information. The RLC is gone. Reasons and impacts. So even before you start reading, you want to think critically. Like here, okay, so we read the title. Reasons and impacts. Okay, so think critically. So here, I would probably think about something like, what are the reasons the RLC is gone? Okay, so what do you think? If a sea disappears, I mean, it's a sea, so it's a big body of water, and it disappears, poof, it's gone. Yeeks. What could be the reasons for that? So just give me some thoughts that come to mind immediately. What do you think? If I were to ask you suddenly, sea is gone, why? Makran says pollution. Maybe Makran. I don't know if pollution would make it dirty. I don't know if it would disappear because of pollution. Jian says drought. Yeah, so drought, dry weather. Yeah. Could be global warming. Yes. Bogdan says evaporation. Yeah, so evaporation is the process by which water turns to vapor, vaporization, evaporation, right? So yes, drought, global warming, evaporation. Bogdan says inappropriate use of agricultural techniques. Bogdan, I love your brain. Yes, it's a smart thought. Inappropriate use of agricultural techniques. Okay, so we can simplify that, Bogdan, and say bad farming. I like yours better. I like the inappropriate use of agricultural techniques. Agriculture is farming, right? So it's use of water. Okay. Jen says maybe some earthquakes. Land opens up and drinks all the water. Possibly. Okay, and then, of course, the impacts, right? So from this title, RLC is gone, reasons, that would be one point of critical thought, and then the other would be the impacts, right? So here, my second question that I would ask myself before I begin reading is, what are the impacts of this sea disappearing? So good, and you don't need to overdo it. So don't spend 5 minutes analyzing the title. That's not the point here. The point is to read the title and think about it critically for about 30 seconds. Your brain is fast, especially if you're focused, so it shouldn't take you too long. Just think about a couple of key questions. Makran says, shortage of water. Okay. Yeah, for local residents, right? Yeah, Alexi, lack of water in for the local cities. Yeah, absolutely. That surround that watershed. Okay, quite possibly. What else? What do you think? We're so human, right? It's the first thing we think about. I don't have water to drink. And then Joao says, well, let's not forget about the animals that live there, right? The death of the animals that live there. Yes, Joao. Philo, welcome to our group of members. Nice to have you on board. Send me an email. We'll hook you up with those exclusive videos. Yeah, Yanni, that's right. Destroy the sea habitat. Extinction of marine life, Makran. Sea creatures are gone. What else? Anything else? So local creatures, wildlife is gone. The humans that live there don't have as much drinking water. There's probably a couple more impacts that might come to mind. So when I think about it, effect on the economy for humans, right? Okay, and changes the environment. When you're in the IELTS exam, students, this is a really good tip for basically all of the sections, not just the reading. So big tip coming up here. Big tip for all sections. When you think critically, consider the human impact, and B, the environmental impact. So when you're thinking about all of these questions, the logic, IELTS is designed for all people, ages 16 to 60, men, women, regardless of culture, religion, creed. So the concepts relate to humans and the environment. And of course, humans are part of the environment, but humans tend to think of themselves as separate from the environment in some ways, which is unfortunate, but it's true. So you can think about the human impact, right? Like humans use water for industry, for economics, for transportation. And then, of course, the environment relies on water for its ecosystems, for the climate, for the landscape. So you can think about all of those as you think about this topic. Prakash, welcome to our group of members. Joel says, humans are so self-righteous and selfish. Yes, we are, Joel. That is one of our biggest characteristics as a species, no doubt about that. Hi, Romelia, welcome to the group. Okay, so good. So we've looked at the title. The Aral Sea is gone. Reasons and impacts. If you don't know where the Aral Sea is or was, not a big deal. We'll find that out. You just kind of had to think about these concepts. And then we look at the questions. So we look at the questions to see if we can get a bit more information before reading the passage. Okay. And again, we've got approximately 20 minutes. So like I said, it's not necessarily exactly 20 minutes, but approximately. So we don't want to go too deep too quickly. We just want to get a fairly good idea of what we're going to read about. So here we have a table completion here, and we've got some headings. So we've got the subject, which is the topic, okay, and then we've got the comments. If you see this kind of a question in your IELTS reading, it's really good because this kind of question can really help you to get a good understanding of the passage, especially this column here, the subject. This is a more modern question type in more recent exams. So you see here the subject says the Aral Sea. So clearly we're going to be reading about the Aral Sea. It's part of the title. And then we see the subject of cotton. Okay. What is cotton? So what is cotton, students? What is cotton? If you check your clothes that you're wearing, there's a very good chance that some of you will see this word in your clothing, maybe even in English. Okay, so Raquel says cotton's a tree. I'm not sure if we would consider it a tree. I think it's more of a shrub, Raquel. It's definitely a type of plant. Okay. Yeah, and Prakash says it's a type of crop that we farm. It's definitely not leather, Romelia, or not silk. It's a fabric, yes, Romelia. It's a material used for fabric, but it's quite different from leather or silk, which are animal products, right? It's a plant product to make thread and make materials. Yes, absolutely. And possibly the most popular, aside from what's maybe even more popular these days for fabrics. Okay, so pay attention to your surroundings, students. Check your shirt, check the tag in your shirt. So if you look at the tag, it's called the tag, that little piece of fabric. So if you look at the tag in your shirt, when you learn new words like tag in this case, make sure you remember it. If you look at the tag in your shirt, you may find the word or the words 100% cotton. Okay, it's a nice natural fabric. Made from the cotton plant. Okay. And Silviana says, yes, cotton, 100%. Okay. Romelia says, yes, it's definitely different. It was just an example of some other fabrics. Leather is not considered a fabric, though, either, Romelia, so be careful. It is used to make clothing, but it's not considered a fabric. A fabric is made up of strings. Leather is not made up of strings, right? So it's not considered a fabric either. So careful with that. But that's just being very technical in case you're on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire and you get a question about fabrics. Okay, pop quiz. What is maybe even more common these days than cotton for fabric? What is the most common fabric these days? And there is logic to this. Why is Adrian suddenly talking about fabrics? I'm getting your brain working in different ways. And when you're in the IELTS reading, to get those really high band scores, you want to stay calm and focused so that you can allow your brain to truly express its power. And this is one example of that. Yanni says silk. Requea says silk. Joao says linen. I wish you were right. I think philo is correct. I bet you polyester globally. Polyester is basically plastic fabric, right? Okay, so polyester, probably the most common. Nylon is similar to polyester, but polyester is what we call it. So good job, Philo. Nice to have you on board, jumping in with some correct answers. Good for you. Alexi says it depends on the region. Maybe, Alexi, I would still say that globally polyester has probably become dominant in the world. Okay, so polyester, but definitely cotton would be my strong second guess. So I would say polyester, maybe the most common fabric globally, and then cotton second, right? Why is that important? So from this, we realize that cotton is grown and farmed in large quantities. So yeah, so if you're Bogdan, and at this point you're probably realizing that, yeah, okay, farming or inappropriate agriculture of cotton is probably a big reason for the Aral Sea missing, right? Mukesh, welcome on board. Okay, and then we have modern day Uzbekistan. So here we start to get an idea of where the Aral Sea might be, and then the negative effects, okay? Now, if you've got some good reading skills, you can skim over the comments as well, but not absolutely necessary. The most important for this type of question is that you pay attention to the subjects, so you get an idea of the subjects that you're going to read about, okay? And then we've got some paragraph matching questions. So reading passage 2 has 7 paragraphs. Which paragraph contains the following information? Students, this is reading, so please read with me, and if you can, read aloud, okay? All right. Thank you, Carolina, for welcoming Mukesh. Okay, these questions you definitely want to read, and while you're doing the IELTS, you want to mentally paraphrase these. So in your head, think about different ways that they can present this information. Okay, and at home, you should do it on paper. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Number 20, the degree of shrinkage of the Aral Sea in the past. So another way to say this would be the amount that the Aral Sea became smaller in past years. Okay, so all I have done here is I thought about another way that I might see this information in the passage. The number one way that the questions work in the IELTS exam for the speaking and for the listening is by paraphrasing. So showing you one way in the questions and then another way in the actual passage. So by thinking about it like this, you can get the information a bit easier. Okay, so here's another one. The human suffering from cotton production. Okay, can you paraphrase that for me, members? So what's another way to say the human suffering, excuse me, from cotton production? What would be another way to say that? And then here's another one, the creation of the Aral Sea. Paraphrase that. So you can see 21, 22, 23, 24. Paraphrase those, okay? Alexi says, people suffer from cotton-made products. Alexi, that's not really the same because we're not talking actually about cotton-made products. Cotton production doesn't mean cotton-made products. It means growing or farming cotton. Okay, so producing cotton means farming cotton. So it's a little bit different, Alexi. And you want to make sure your paraphrasing is accurate. Okay, so Alexi, when you realize that, oh, okay, that's not the same information, be careful because you could easily choose the wrong paragraph if you do that. Joao says, the agony cotton production has had on humans. Okay, Joao, how about we do, that's a good paraphrase. How about we paraphrase it a little bit more, like the agony that cotton farming has had on people. Okay, that would be a good way. Joao, the agony that cotton farming has had on people, or the agony that cotton farming has made. Or, well, a little bit better English, the agony that has resulted from cotton farming for people. That would be the better English. Okay, let's say that instead. Okay, all right, that's good. The creation of the Aral Sea, anybody try that one? Gian, good. Gian says, the history of the Aral Sea. It's a very good paraphrase, Gian. The history of the Aral Sea. Okay, so just like that, nicely done, Gian, good. Okay, the development of cotton production. So the cotton industry in the Soviet Union. Okay, hopefully all of you know a little bit about the history of the USSR. Will definitely help you to understand current world affairs, I'll tell you that. So the cotton industry in the Soviet Union, yes, absolutely. And the last one, the tool that accelerated the need for cotton. So the equipment that increased the requirement for cotton. Sure. Okay, good. So we've got a couple of good paraphrases there to help us identify the information. And then we've got one more question here, the yes, no, not given. Now, many of you who have watched the videos on the YouTube channel and watched some of the reading videos, there's a couple of videos on the channel that deal with true, false, not given. yes, no, not given type questions, and you'll learn very quickly that this type of question you just don't read before the passage because it can be confusing. You don't know which answers or statements are false and which ones are not given, so there's no real value in reading that question. So then we get back to the actual passage and we read. Okay, so students, once more, this is reading, and I'm going to get you to read after. So read and read aloud. Okay, that means read in such a way that you can hear yourself. So read with me. I'm going to read this passage for you. This audio is not on the websites yet, but it will be. Here I'm just going to read nice and loud at a comfortable pace. You've got about 8 to 10 minutes to read a passage. To get those high band scores in the IELTS, students like 7, 8, 9, you need to read the passage. The IELTS is designed in such a way that it's extremely difficult, if not impossible, to get high band scores by just skim reading. You'll run out of time. And if you can get a good score, skim reading only, then you can probably get a better score if you just read. So keep that in mind. Okay, here we go. So read with me. The Aral Sea is gone. Reasons and impacts. Now, as I'm reading, I'm also visualizing. So I'm seeing the information, okay? Especially with this kind of information where it's very visual. The Aral Sea is a real place. It's a location, so I can see it in my head, okay? And I put myself there. So magically, I am transporting myself from Canada, from Victoria, where I'm actually at right now. I'm transporting myself to Asia, to Uzbekistan, to the location of the Aral Sea. So I'm going there. Okay, I'm not just seeing this like another movie or a TV show, but I'm actually there. I'm the actor. I participate. Okay, so here we go, everybody. A century ago, the Aral Sea was the 4th largest lake on Earth, with water sourced from 2 cities, the Amu Darya River and the Sir Darya River. The lake was a bountiful fishing source for lakeside communities throughout history. In the 20th century, this changed dramatically with the rise of the Soviet Union and the demand for cotton, which grew easily in the surrounding area. The Aral Sea, which is technically a lake, began to shrink. Today, there is almost no water left. It truly is one of the planet's worst environmental disasters. Eek. The Aral Sea is located between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, 2 former Soviet republics. It was formed over 5 million years ago when geologic forces prevented the 2 rivers' water from reaching their final destination. These forces created a lake with an area of 68,000 square kilometers, a body of water that was full of fish for the neighboring communities. 200,000 generations relied on this fish to sustain themselves in trade with nearby groups. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that the situation changed, and when it began to change, it would not be long until all the water was gone, and the local economies were ruined. The cotton fabric, which makes up much of modern clothing, comes from the cotton plant, which is native to tropical and subtropical regions worldwide, from the Americas to Africa and India and Australia. It has been processed by humans since antiquity. There is evidence of cotton production dating back 8,000 years in Peru. However, the invention of the cotton gin by Eli Whitney in 1794 transformed both the production of cotton and its environmental impact. Cotton production in the 20th century was fine-tuned. That is, it had been improved over time to optimize its output. What was not taken into account, however, was its environmental impact. In the 1940s, the USSR experienced a massive drought. There was no water for crops, and thus many people starved to death. Joseph Stalin, the dictator of the country, directed a great plan for the transformation of nature, the goal of which was to improve the agricultural output of the nation. One part of this plan involved transforming the lands of the Uzbek SSR, modern Uzbekistan, into cotton crops. This was not a bad idea at first thought. The Uzbek lakeside lands were suitable for the cultivation of the crop. The Soviets provided water for the crops by exploiting the natural water flow in the area, the Amu Darya and the Sir Darya rivers. This system was stable for about 20 years until the Soviet government decided to expand the irrigation system to increase production in the 1960s. This required more water. Water has to come from somewhere, and in this case, the water came from the two rivers. Because the water from the two rivers was also the source of the Aral Sea, it began to shrink. Starting in 1960, the Aral Sea shrank by 50 to 100 centimeters per year. By 1987, the lake had dried so much that it had been divided into two, the large Aral in the south and the small Aral in the north. This was an environmental disaster. The separation of the lake changed the salt levels in each lake, which resulted in wildlife deaths as well as increased evaporation levels, water loss. So somebody said evaporation. There you go. By 2002, the southern lake had completely evaporated, and by 2014, all the water was gone. What was left was called Aralkum, a desert. This desert is not just an interesting artifact of the human impact on Earth. Instead, the desert is a disease-riddled black hole whose dust blows through the region regularly, spreading illness and dangerous chemicals. For example, the USSR once operated a biological weapons facility in the lake, and now the chemical byproducts of the testing are open to the air and affect neighboring communities. As there is no water, there is also no fish, and this is catastrophic for the once lakeside communities. Not only have they lost a source of food, they have also lost a key industry. Today, the people of the region suffer from a poor economy, high levels of poverty, toxic drinking water, and a scarcity of resources. Cotton still grows in Uzbekistan. Indeed, the cotton harvest holds a special place in Uzbek culture, with the country coming together each year to take hold of the valuable crop and bring it to market. In a way, it is as if the Soviet ways still hold sway. The Uzbek economy relies on cotton production, with little regard for its environmental, social, and health impacts. In this sense, the destruction of the Aral Sea is a small-scale example of the environmental damage and exploitation we have brought upon the planet as a whole. It is too late for the Aral Sea, but is it too late for Earth? All right, so lots of interesting information there. There we go. So I hope that all of you visualized this information. I hope that you saw this in your mind's eye. Let's practice a bit of reading. So I highly recommend that when you're doing reading at home and when you're practicing, you don't just jump from one passage to another. That's a really bad idea. And if you don't understand a passage, then don't try to do the answers. Read it again. Okay, so this is an important tip for home study. Make sure to spend time with each practice passage until you clearly understand the content. Okay, this means that you should reread passages several times and apply various strategies like A, critical reading, asking what each paragraph is about. And you should also reread and visualize. Okay, so that's what we're going to practice right now. We're going to practice a bit of visual reading, and you see I put my headphones on, and that's because I'm going to be looking for volunteers here in just a moment. To volunteer for reading, this is what you have to do, okay? You have to go to aehelp.com, and then we're going to use the student partner speaking. So this is gieltshelp.com. Again, you can join the premium version of the course by clicking these red buttons, that one just above my head there, okay? And in this case, we're going to aehelp.com. So login students, or for new students, you can join with either one of these red buttons here that I'm circling, okay? And then you're in your My Student account and you click on Student Partner Speaking, and please volunteer, don't be shy. We're all learners for life. So accept that you are ready to get in there. I'm looking for mostly members and premium students for volunteers in this class. So we're in the chat interface here. You're going to see me in here as master. Okay, when you see my handle, just click on the blue envelope by my name and then send me a message. I want to volunteer, okay? All right, so Alexi, I see that you're in here. Go ahead, volunteer if you're ready. Who else is in here from our members? Makran, Chayani. Let's see if Chayani's ready. Are you ready, Chayani? Okay, let's see if Yanni can start us off with the introductory paragraph today. Fuang says, Yanni! All right, Yanni, if you're there, let me know. Okay, Fuang, if you're in here, you can, oh, I see that you're there too. Okay, Fuang. All right.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Yanni, how are you?
Yeah, everything went random. Yeah, because last week I got my second attempt for my IELTS, but it wasn't satisfied me. But in this week, I just like enjoy my new age.
Okay, yeah, that's a good way to do it. So learn from the past and look towards the future, right? So analyze what you did. Write me an email, Yanni, about your IELTS experience, your scores, and maybe I can give you some valuable feedback on what you should do as the next steps, okay?
All right, sir.
Okay. Yanni, are you ready to read this introduction?
Yes, sure.
Okay. So, Yanni, what I want you to do when you read this introduction is to visualize. So picture yourself with the information, because after you're done the introduction, I'm going to ask you what you actually saw when you read this information, okay?
Okay.
All right. So whenever you're ready, Yanni, read from the top, and I want everybody else to do this as well. So don't just listen, but read with Yanni and visualize. Okay, go ahead, Yanni.
The Aral Sea is gone, recent and impacts. A century ago, the Aral Sea was the fourth largest lake on Earth, with water source from two rivers, the Amu River and the Sire Daria River. The lake was a bountiful fishing source for the lakeside communities throughout history. In the 20th century, this changed dramatically. When the rise of the Soviet Union and the demand for cotton, which grew easily in the surrounding area, the Aral Sea, which is technically a lake, began to shrink. Today, there is almost no water left. It truly is one of the planet's worst environmental disasters.
Okay, so Yanni, when you read this introductory paragraph, what do you see inside of your head?
I see that the Aral Sea have lost connected by the two rivers and Daya rivers, but when it come to the 20th century, it's like dramatically shrinking because of the Soviet Union, and also about like evaporation, and it lead to the environmental disaster.
Okay, good. So that's not bad, Yanni. The trick is to include yourself. So when you're especially reading, okay, so this is one of the big problems with watching so many movies and TV these days is that we become disconnected from information. It means that we see information separately from us, right? Which is actually quite sad because we're all connected. And like you're in the Philippines right now, Yanni, or Indonesia?
I'm in Indonesia.
Indonesia, sorry. Yeah, Indonesia. Second guess was better, right? So you're in Indonesia, and you're probably like, okay, Errol C, what does that have to do with me? I'm quite far from Uzbekistan, right? But at the end of the day, you know that the entire planet is connected. So of course it matters, right? And the fourth largest lake on Earth disappearing affects all of us on planet Earth in some way, right? So we want to always connect to information. So you see how I'm drawing a picture here on the screen, right? And I've got some of the key information like USSR, I've got the two rivers, I've got one here, I've got another one here. And then you notice that here I drew you. you're a stick figurine here, Yanni. Okay, this is you with pink hair. All right, and you're kind of happy, but then maybe you get a little bit sad when the. And what are you doing, Yanni? You're in a boat. Okay, you're on the Errol C in a boat. You see that?
Hello, are you there, sir?
I am. Yes, Yanni. Can you hear me?
Am I audible?
Yes.
Hello.
Yep, Yanni, you're audible. I can hear you.
Hello.
Oh, I'm sure everybody else can hear you as well. Can everybody hear me still? Probably, right? You can hear me through YouTube as well.
Hello.
I shouldn't have done that. Let's see. So here, let me just jump back and let Yanni know that I can still hear her. I can hear you.
Okay. Oh, yes. I can hear you, sir.
Okay. So Yanni, just jumping back here. So here's the lake. Okay, here's one river, here's another river, and include yourself. So you're in a boat. What are you doing? You're fishing. Okay, you have a fishing rod. There's a fish there. Let's do that. There's a fish there. You're fishing. Okay, so all of that should happen. Yanni, have you ever tried drawing pictures while you're reading at home?
Yes, maybe it's once or twice.
Okay, keep doing that. So create kind of like a picture map of the reading passage. So you train your brain to really see the information, right? So what you can do is you can literally draw a picture for each paragraph. In the practice materials on the website, there's actually a lesson for that where it says like draw pictures for each paragraph. So that's a good one to do. Okay, Yanni, so draw those pictures and include yourself, all right?
All right, sir.
Okay. Okay, Yanni, I'll look forward to that email, and then I'll give you some more advice on what you should do as your next steps, okay?
Okay, sir. Can I put a question for you?
Yeah, go for it.
So I have tried like a certain of the Cambridge question of reading, and I have faced like the most difficult question that the part one is consists of the filling blanks and matching names and also not given. Even when it comes in the real exam, what should I do first?
You should always go in the order of the questions. So
in order.
Yes, absolutely. So you should always go with the first question set first, the second question set second, and the third. Usually, or in many cases, the questions do follow the order of the passage. So you should go with question 1 first, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, and then to 12. You should not be jumping around in the questions. Like, you should not try to do true, false, not given before you do fill in the blanks, if fill in the blanks is first. So go in the order of the questions always, okay?
Okay, sir.
All right. Okay, bye, Yanni. We'll talk more later.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Hope we can talk later.
All right, that was Yanni. Let's give her a thumbs up, and we'll definitely help Yanni to make sure that she can master the IELTS and get the score she needs the next time she takes the test. All right, let's jump over to Alexi. Alexi, are you ready? We've got, I think, 7 paragraphs, so lots of members will be able to practice here. Okay, and again, the goal here is to visualize, and you're going to see why visualization is so important in a few moments as we get to the questions a little bit later on. So Alexia, if you're there, let me know, and we'll jump into another paragraph. Okay. Yeah, Carolina is absolutely right. So you can take notes during the reading, but I don't really find that necessary. So all of the information that you need is there in front of you. So you don't really need to take notes during reading. The questions kind of act like notes. They kind of summarize the passage anyway. So notes in the listening, yes. Notes in the speaking, yes, for part 2 especially. Notes for writing in the sense of planning, yes, but not really necessary in reading. Okay, Alexia, I don't see your response there, so let's see if Phuong is up for a paragraph. Phuong, are you ready? Okay. Alexi, I can see you in the chat. You said, wait a minute, please. Alexi, no worries. I'll circle back to you. Okay, Phuong, if you're there, let's do it. And then Alexi, after the paragraph with Phuong, I'll circle back. Okay? Hi, Phuong.
Hi, sir.
How are you today in Vietnam?
I'm doing fantastic. How about you, sir?
I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for asking. All right, Phuong, whenever you're ready, let's just jump right into it and start reading paragraph B. You should see it on the screen in a couple of seconds. Start reading from the Aral Sea.
Okay, sir. The Aral Sea is located between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, two former Soviet republics. It was formed over 5 million years ago when geologist forces prevented the two river water from reaching their final destinations. These forces created a lake with an area of 68,000 square kilometers, a body of water that was full of fish for the neighboring community. 200,000 generations relied on these fish to sustain themselves and trade with nearby groups. It wasn't until the mid-20th century that the situation changed, and when it began to change, it would not be long until all the waters were gone and the local economies were ruined.
Okay, good, Phuong. Nice, fast, smooth reading. Phuong, what do you see when you read this?
I can visualize that the Aral Sea is between two regions, Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, and in addition, it was gone disappear in today's.
Here's a question, Phuong. Who are you? So when you put yourself into this paragraph, when you put yourself into this image, who are you?
The Aral Sea, sir.
Who are you?
Um, I'm the like I visualize myself the Aral Sea disappear nowadays due to the pollutions.
Okay, but who are you, right? So the trick here, Phuong, is you have to be in there. You have to be the actress. You got to be in there. So what I'm doing here is I'm drawing a picture here. Let me do this with blue so you can see it better. So I'm drawing you right now, Phuong. Here you are, and I'm going to draw you as a cave woman. Why am I drawing you as a cave woman? And I'm drawing you as a cave woman with a fish in her hand. So why am I drawing you as a cave woman with a fish in her hand? Or maybe even two fish. There. And another person. Here's another person that's trying to take the fish. Why am I drawing you as a cave woman? And why is there a caveman here taking the fish from you?
Well, I think the fish is the food supply for the communities around there?
Yeah, absolutely. And you're a cave woman because it has been that way for 200,000 generations. Now, you can imagine that 200,000 generations ago, we were all cave people. So that's why, right? So that's why you're a cave woman. There's something more here than just including yourself into the image. I'm also making you unique, right? So if you see yourself as a cave person in paragraph B, trading fish with another cave person, why do you think that's important? So why would it be important to get that kind of a picture inside of your head where you're this cave woman trading fish with a caveman?
Well, I think when trading fish with another person, that will boost the economy in these regions, sir.
Yeah, absolutely. So you remember the information. Most importantly, what happens is that because it's unique, because your brain goes, oh, that's strange. Like, just imagine myself as a cave person, right? So your brain holds the information, it captures it, right? So you're not just doing this for this moment when you're reading paragraph B, but you're doing this for later when you've read C, D, E, F, G, and now you have a question and you have to remember what you read in paragraph B. One of the most common complaints that I hear from people in the IELTS is they say, oh, I read the passage and I understand what I read, but then when I get to the questions, I suddenly forget all the information and I have to read it again, right? So what you want to master when you're practicing Phuong, and of course this is for everybody, is to basically train your brain and train your thinking so that you can read the information one time, and then after that one time you can easily remember where that information is and recall most of it. So the big tip here, Phuong, and I've said this before, is not only to visualize, but visualize it in a unique way. So visualize information in a unique way to trick your brain into remembering the content, specifics, and location. Okay, does that make sense, Phuong?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so don't be shy. Turn yourself into a cave woman with a fish that's trading fish, okay?
Okay, sir.
All right, practice that, Phuong. Thank you so much for reading. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day and watch out for that loud, noisy traffic.
Okay, bye-bye, sir.
Okay, bye, Phuong. All right, that was Phuong, who today has become a cave woman. All right. Okay, Alexi, send me an email. I'm not sure what's going on with your connection, but you can definitely make the connection. Alexi, if you're having difficulty with your setup the way it is, try a VPN. The world is really strange today with what is allowed and what is not allowed on the internet for where you are, etc. So try a VPN, okay? If it's not working for you. All right. Romelia, we haven't heard from you in a while, and you're at the bottom of the list here. So let's see if Romelia is ready. Romelia, are you ready? Okay. We had a lot of male volunteers, I think, yesterday, so I'm switching a little bit gears here and focusing a little bit more on female volunteers. Romelia is there. Okay.
Hello.
Hi, Romelia. How are you?
Not bad. Thank you. What about you?
I'm doing great. I love how you say that. You're like, not bad. It means you're kind of good. It means that you're hopeful the day could get better.
Quite reluctantly.
Good. All right, Romelia, are you ready to read paragraph C for us?
I do my best.
All right, sounds good. Whenever you're ready, go from the cotton fabric.
Okay, so C,
Mm-hmm.
The cotton fabric, which makes up much of modern clothing, comes from the cotton plant. which is the native tropical and subtropical regions worldwide, from the Americas to Africa and India and Australia. It has been processed by humans since antiquity. There is evidence of cotton production dating back 8,000 years in Peru. However, the invention of the cotton gin by Eli Whitney in 1794 transformed both the production of cotton and its environmental impact.
Okay. Romelia, first of all, you don't need to read that fast for IELTS. Okay, so in IELTS, if you read that fast, you're going to be done the passage in 4 minutes. What's most important is that you also understand what you're reading. So if you have to read a little bit slower, but you understand a lot more, then you can do that. If you can understand a lot reading that fast, hey, that's awesome. And you know what? And this is a kind of a cold, hard truth for a lot of people who are going to take university in another country. Yes, go ahead, Romelia.
Do you mean, I don't know, my intelligibility was problematic?
Well, it's just on the fast side, right? So in the IELTS, you can basically read at the natural speed of speaking. Your reading was faster than that. So you were reading faster than what would be considered natural in conversation or in speech, right? However, an important point here is that speed that you are reading is the speed that students need to learn for their university studies. Because if somebody is planning to do their bachelor's, master's, PhD in an English-speaking country, then you have to read about that fast for your university exams and homework and so on. So you do have to learn fast reading at some point, for sure. Okay, Romelia, what do you see with paragraph C?
Basically the genesis, so to speak, of the plant and the history.
Okay, so you see the importance of the cotton plant, the history. You have to include yourself. Another reason why you want to include yourself. So remember with Yanni was in a boat. Yanni was fishing. Fuang was a cave woman trading fish, right? Here, you need to include yourself, and by including yourself, you're also going to remember another piece of really important information from paragraph C. When you see yourself, what should you see yourself doing here? I'm going to draw you.
I don't know. I'm a researcher, maybe.
I wouldn't. I'd do something else. So I'm going to draw you here, and you're going to be doing something. You're sitting on a chair. What are you doing, Amelia? What are you doing on this chair? You should see it. You should see it. I'm just gonna. I don't know what it really looks like. I just kind of have an idea from movies or once or twice when I've been in the museum.
Okay.
But I'm going to join somebody who has actually seen this machine. Will probably say, Adrian, that's so funny. It doesn't look anything like that. But I'm going to do my best here. Okay. Do you know what I'm drawing right now? Does that make sense? Do you kind of see what I've put on the screen? What is this weird contraption that I've drawn? And if you didn't get this from this paragraph, woohoo! You got that much from my draw. It's the cotton gin. It's the cotton gin. It's this word right here. Okay. So you're sitting at a cotton gin and you're spinning cotton. You're spinning cotton into fabric. Okay, so you see this part here, Romelia? However, the invention of the cotton gin by Eli Whitney in 1794 transformed both the production of cotton and its environmental impact. That's a pretty important part of this passage. And so if I'm reading this, I would see myself sitting there and spinning cotton into thread. Did you see yourself doing that in this paragraph? Not really?
Yeah, not exactly.
That's not good. It's not good because you could almost bet that you're going to have one or two questions on that.
Yeah, it seems a bit of a, I don't know, backbreaking work.
Absolutely. I mean, you've probably have you seen a cotton gin in real life? Like, have you seen this contraption?
No, to be honest.
No, even in movies, museums, never in books. No.
Or I haven't noticed. I visited.
Okay. All right. But anyway, it's there. Google it. Yeah, so you do want to see that. If you're doing this at home and you're like, okay, what is this cotton gin? You might want to look it up, right? And to help your visualization. But make sure that you stop and pay attention to such information, because if you don't, you're going to end up either spending more time searching for answers or losing marks by not realizing what's going on. Okay, so you have to be a bit careful with that. So every single paragraph, and this is for everybody, it's not just for Romelia, for every single paragraph, you have to be in the information, especially when it's so physical, when it's something that's so material. Okay? Romelia? Yes, can you hear me still, Romelia? Are you there?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I might be losing you a little bit. You can hear me. Okay, Romelia, so...
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Yes. So picture yourself, Romelia. So you're doing this back-breaking work with the cotton gin, okay? I think we're having a little bit of lag issues, but that's okay.
Okay.
All right, Romelia, have an awesome rest of your day. I think my voice is coming a little bit late for you, but that's okay. It was lovely to hear your voice, Romelia, and I hope you have a fantastic evening.
Yeah, probably it was a delay, but now I think the connection is reestablished.
Bye, Romelia. All right, that was Romelia. That was really good. So again, every single paragraph we want to include ourselves, okay? Every single paragraph. All right, let's jump to Domenico. Now, we're going to actually jump to the questions. So we're going to answer questions instead of going through the rest of the passage again. Let's see if Domenico is ready. Are you ready? Most of you, especially if you've been using the online materials on the website. So again, on the website here, you've got all of these strategies and courses and videos. You should have been visualizing while we were doing the initial reading. Let's see if Domenico was doing that. Okay.
Hello, sir.
Hi, Domenico. How are you?
I'm doing great. Well, I'm holding a pick-me-up coffee.
Okay,
you know?
Me too. You and I are on the same page. Domenico,
Yes.
have you ever seen a cotton gin?
Yes, I have.
Okay, quite the contraption, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a quick contraption. If I'm not mistaken, when I went to Mexico, I saw a cotton gin.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Yeah, they definitely are around here and there. Okay, Domenico, we're going to jump to the questions here, and I'm going to get you to help me with some questions so that we can get through some of these. Let me just get to this table question here, okay? So when you're ready, please read this comment, though it is called a sea. Go from there.
Yeah. Though it is called a sea, the Aral Sea is actually one of the largest lakes in the world.
Okay, Domenico, bonus question. How big was this lake?
I've never actually thought about it. I never actually thought about it before, but I don't know, maybe
It says, the passage tells you.
Yeah. I don't remember this information. It slipped in my mind.
Fourth. It was the fourth largest.
Yeah, the fourth largest. Yeah.
Absolutely. And this answer, it's a plural. So it's not largest lake, it's largest lakes, right? And you said that correctly.
Yeah.
You said it correctly, so you had the right answer. You
Lakes,
used the plural. Why is it plural, Domenico? Can you tell everybody who's watching why it has to be
One of
plural?
the largest. It's one of the largest. One of the largest landlocked lakes.
Yeah,
Body
exactly.
of water.
So pay attention, students. Domenico knows this English, which is good for you, Domenico. One of is always one of many, right? So it's
One of many.
Yeah, so it has to be plural, right? So one of the many. So it's one of the largest lakes. Some students think that because it says one, they use a singular like lake, but that's wrong. It has to be a plural. But you knew that, Domenico. So good for you. Okay, Domenico, can you keep reading? The body of water.
The body of water was formed when geologic forces affected the flow of two rivers.
Okay, and again plural, right? Because it's two.
Yeah.
So
two
rivers. Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it was fueled by two rivers.
Mm-hmm.
It was this was one of the largest lakes located between Uzbekistan and Kazakhstan, so in Central Asia.
Mm-hmm.
But due to extensive irrigation, the water levels of this body of water declined dramatically, affecting the surrounding areas.
Absolutely. And with that in thought, Domenico, I'd like you to keep helping me. So read the next subject, which is cotton. So go ahead and read this comment here. Cotton.
Cotton comes from the cotton plant, which can be found in many warmer regions of the world. The oldest evidence of cotton production has been found in Asia. In Asia?
No. Not Asia. It's one country. I visualize this country. I wonder if anybody else visualized this country with me. I think a few people did. Check the chat.
Peru. Yeah.
And it was
yeah,
Peru. Did you?
Peru.
I saw. Do you know what I saw? So, do you know what I saw? Can you guess what I saw when I read this piece of information? Why I remember that it's Peru? There's something that's very unique in Peru that a lot of people want to go visit, but nowadays it's not allowed anymore. That's right. Machu Picchu. That's right. Machu Picchu is now closed to the public. But you know what I saw, Domenico? I saw myself growing cotton in Machu Picchu. That's what I saw.
Believe me, Adrian, when I went to Mexico, I went to Yucatan. The Maya civilization used to do the same thing.
Absolutely, right? So that's what you need to use. Use that information. Like, I literally saw myself growing cotton in Machu Picchu, and I was like, "Oh, I'm growing cotton in Machu Picchu."
So I experienced. So I saw with my own eyes. So I experienced. So I saw the cotton gin firsthand.
Exactly, right?
First-hand experience.
Yeah, so rely on that. So you need to rely on that, Domenico. So you definitely shouldn't be thinking Asia, right? You have to catch that information. Domenico, keep reading. Go for them today.
Today, the natural resource cotton production requires more than anything else. Requires more than anything
Keep reading.
else.
Here's a hint for everybody. If you don't get it right away, read the next sentence.
Result in water.
Right? So when you kept reading, so you read this part that follows after, and this happens to a lot of students. They get stuck here and they forget about the next sentence. Don't forget the next sentence. So if you just keep reading, then this information will help you figure out this information. And you're absolutely right. The correct answer there is water.
Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. It's okay. I hear that you're yelling at somebody to bring you some food and drink. It's totally okay.
Yeah. Sorry, sir.
That's okay. So water, right? You figured it out right away. That so
Water.
cotton requires water, right? Lots of water. All right, Domenico. Thank you for helping me out with this and with these
You're
questions.
welcome, sir.
Have an awesome rest of your day and keep
Thank
hanging in
you.
there.
Thank you.
Bye, Domenico.
Bye.
All right, that was some really good help. Yes, Domenico mentioned that, well, he's been in Mexico. He's been in the Yucatan, and that's where he saw the cotton gin. So no surprise, right? Peru, first signs of cotton. You have to use... IELTS tries to give you real information, so information that's fact. So if you have experience like Domenico with that in your real life, rely on that. Use that. So if you know that you know, in Mexico, you're like, oh, these people, the Aztecs and the Incas grew cotton thousands and thousands of years ago, and then you get to this earliest signs of growing cotton. You should think about that, right? Because that's probably going to help you get the right answer. Okay. All right, students, let's get another volunteer here. Let's see. Makrand, are you ready? Are you ready? Makrand. If you're there, let me know. We're going to go through all the questions, and I'm going to show you exactly how to answer these questions and get the correct answers. And you can see that students are doing a pretty good job when we analyze the reading to this level. Okay. All right, Makrand, here we go. All of these strategies are in your IELTS course, students. It's all in here. Makrand.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are. How are you?
I'm doing great. And actually, I have my test in 5 days from today.
5 days. All right.
Yeah.
You've been doing lots of study. I'm sure you'll do fine. When you do your test, let us know how you did, okay? Make sure you come back and tell us, okay?
Yes, definitely.
All right, Makrand, I'm going to get you to help me with some more of these questions. Go ahead and let's read about the subject of modern-day Uzbekistan. So we're in modern-day Uzbekistan. Go ahead and read from cotton production. You're going to see it in just a moment on your screen, I'm sure.
Yes, I can see it. So, cotton production is ongoing in Uzbekistan, and its economy still relies on it. Indeed, cotton production is part of the dash of Uzbekistan.
Part of the, what was your answer?
No, I just skipped the part.
Oh, you said that. Okay. Okay. All right. What do you think is the answer here? So, what would you put in here? Cotton production is part of the something of Uzbekistan. And it's modern day
economy, I believe.
It's part of the economy of Uzbekistan? Okay. Are you sure? 100%?
Yeah.
Would you bet your firstborn child that the answer is economy?
Yes.
Really? Whoa, too easy, Makrand. Don't bet your firstborn child that easily. That's not good. I wouldn't. Okay. What else could it be?
It could also be about the Uzbekistan culture.
Okay, good. All right. So, yeah. Wait till you. Do you have children, Makrand? May I ask?
Not yet. I'm just 20-year-old.
I thought so. I thought so. Once you have children, you won't bet so easily with your first child.
As far as I'm concerned right now, I care for my IELTS score. So
right, of course. Oh, you got time. All right, so you've got two possible answers here, right? Economy and culture of Uzbekistan. So, good. Now you've got two good ideas. What should you do?
It's about the modern day Uzbekistan, so probably economy would be the correct option.
Could be. If I were at this point in the test, and I haven't been doing a lot of skimming and scanning, because as Domenico very effectively answered those previous questions, those ones we're kind of sure about. So these previous ones like lakes, rivers, Peru, water, those were fairly clear. I wouldn't be searching for those. But here, what I would do, Makrand, is I would just check this. So I've got a couple of good words that I can look for. I have a good idea of where to look for it. So I'm going to check to make sure I'm accurate. So I can look for the country Uzbekistan. I know that this answer is probably coming from somewhere in the middle to the second third of the passage, and I can also look for these words economy, culture, looking for part of the, right? So that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to jump back and then see if I can find the words Uzbekistan and the word culture or economy, okay? And I can right away, as I kind of jump into paragraph D here, I can see that, okay, I've got the Uzbek USSR, modern Uzbekistan into cotton crops. Okay, and then so I skim through this paragraphs, right? And I'm going through, okay, I don't see it there. Okay, I remember there was something at the end as well, and so I'm skimming through, and I don't really see it here. So what I would do at this point is I would just leave both answers. So I would leave economy and culture, and then I would go through the rest of the passage and answer all of the questions, because maybe one of the next questions will actually help me figure out whether it's the economy or culture. And also, as I'm looking at the next questions, I'm probably going to check the passage once or twice, and eventually I will probably return to the conclusion G here. Okay, and I'll get through the conclusion. So go ahead and read for me the conclusion from Indeed.
From Indeed. Indeed, the cotton harvest holds a special place in Uzbek culture, with the country coming together each year to take hold of the valuable crop and bring it to the market.
Okay.
In a way, it is.
We can stop there. So what's the answer?
Uzbek culture.
Yeah. So culture. So then I go, okay, it looks like the correct answer is culture. I pick that one, and then I'm good. Okay, and now I'm confident that that's the right answer. And now if somebody says, would you bet your firstborn child? I would say, no, I still wouldn't. Okay, but I'm pretty sure the answer is culture. Right? So never bet your firstborn child. That's the other valuable lesson here. Okay. All right. If my wife heard me say something like, I'll bet I wouldn't be teaching these lessons anymore. I'd be underground. Okay. Makran, last one, negative effects. Can you read cotton production?
Cotton production has many negative effects on communities, on the environment, and on the dash of individuals.
What would you put there?
Health.
Okay, why do you put health? I would do the same. So you're on the right track. I would also put health. Why?
Because it's about a person, like an individual, right? So
yeah, exactly. So it has negative effects on communities, on the environment, and on the health of individuals. Okay, Gian says life. Okay, so life would maybe be another concept that, or the lives here, Gian, it would have to be plural because it's individuals, so it'd have to be lives. But here I would choose health instead of lives. Why, Makran? Why would I just choose health? And I wouldn't even search for this. I would just put health and not lives. Why would I put health and not lives? Makran?
I'm thinking about it.
You're thinking. Good. Thinking is good. Let me help you a little bit here. It says it has negative effects on communities. Negative effects on communities includes the concept of lives of individuals, right? So if I just put lives here, I'm basically repeating what the question already says with effect on communities, because when we say effect on communities, it means the lives of people living in society, right? That's what the community means. So here it must be something a little bit more specific, right? So health makes sense. Plus, remember all that information how it said there's some biological weapons research and all this toxic weight and everything, right? So we have that, okay, there's that other piece of information there that helps us figure that out, that it's something a little bit more specific here. Okay, so health of individuals, right? Okay. All right, good. Makrand, thank you so much for helping me with these questions, and focus on your studies. You've still got lots of time to think about building a family. But when you get there, never bet your firstborn child.
Not doing it. Got that.
All right, Makran. We'll talk again later. Have an awesome rest of your day, okay?
Yes, wish you the same, Adrian. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now. All right, that was Makran. Mal says lesson there. You must think before betting your children. Yes. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of old stories have that moral in there, right? Okay, students. So here we've got a few more questions. Here we've got the which paragraph contains the following information. This type of question you cannot do with skimming and scanning. You have to do visual reading. And I'm just going to show you these questions here. And then you have these yes, no, not given. We've covered these questions in the past couple of weeks in the reading classes, so you know the strategies for these. I really want you to read this passage again when you have some time. Watch the video again on YouTube. Answer these questions, okay? They're up on the screen. I'll bring up the yes, no, not given questions. It's just the two. So there you go. There's the two yes, no, not given, okay? And then send me your answers by email to my email address, and I will send you the answer key. Okay, so here is my email again for you. Send me the answers there. You can send me any other questions that you might have also. Adrian@aehelp.com. That's my name, Adrian. Admin@aehelp.com, and I will send you back the answer key, okay? So you can check how you did. Read it again before you answer those questions. Read the passage again and visualize it. Include yourself, okay? Be that cave woman, be that caveman, be the trader, be the person working the cotton gin, okay? And then remember to check out the websites for lots more reading strategies. Academic IELTS help for the app, general IELTS help for the app. And for the website, it is aehelp.com. Click the big red button to join the premium package. For general IELTS passages, gieltshelp.com. Students, in about 30 minutes, half an hour, after a short little break, stretch your legs, get a glass of water, refresh yourself, and I'll be back with writing task 1 for the academic. That will be pie charts, okay? Carolina, thank you so much for moderating, helping everybody out. And I'll be back shortly. I look forward to seeing all of you in that class for some more English learning, more logic, and some more fun, some more laughs potentially as well. I'm Adrian. I'm signing out from Victoria for now, and I will be back soon. Bye.